Okay, high-end to luxury bronzers. I'm so scared. This is a huge pile. I am a big bronzer person, and I think I probably also tend to buy things that I think are gonna suit me, but they're actually too dark, so let's see how this goes. Okay, so 3 Too Faced bronzers. First one's in Sweet Tea. I tend to just mix the two together. This is the Chocolate Soleil in medium to deep. And then this one's just the regular chocolate matte, so like the medium or light to medium shade. Here are the swatches. I think the medium deep I could keep for like contour purposes, but I don't reach for it for anything other than that, so I'm going to declutter this one, and these two I'm keeping. This is really pretty. It's baked, so you think, oh, maybe it's going to be really sparkly, but it's really pretty, and if you want to completely kind of eliminate shimmer, you can just use like the side that's like darker. But this applies really smoothly, this Too Faced Chocolate Matte. I think it looks really pretty. I don't know, I feel like maybe this packaging was prettier. This looks more, you know, like a decadent dessert, but I mean, either way. Okay, so 3 Bare Minerals, and this one is Buxom. This one is their newest release. There's 2 shades. This one's in the shade Faux Tan, and the packaging looks like this. I really like it. It's matte. You can use it for bronzer or contour. This line of baked bronzers, I don't know if they're going to discontinue because they have this, but I hope not, because I really like these. They're called Invisible Bronze, and they really build up. Sometimes I get confused in the store because they have something that looks very similar to this, but they're actually highlighters. This one's in the shade Medium, and this one's in the shade Tan. There isn't a huge difference between them, except that I think the medium is like an all-over bronze, and the tan you can contour or bronze with. I use the two together often because, you know, they're the same formula, but I really like them. Lastly is this Buxom bronzer in the shade Tahiti. I believe Maldives was like a darker, browner, redder version, and I had that like back in the day when these first released. And this is like a really long time ago. I had them both, and then I decluttered them, or they were older. So I repurchased this like last year, I think, and it's a more warm-toned shimmery bronzer, and that's a swatch of that. Because it is kind of pressed harder, I think you do need to have a stiffer brush, but I mean, I like all of these, keeping all of them. Next up, 3 from Natasha Denona. This is the All Over Glow. This is in shade 2 and shade 3. Shade 1 is a highlighter on me, so this one is probably the best one. This is me just kidding myself because I love love the product so much, so I'll probably declutter this one. And this is their Sculpting Powder in shade 2. And those are swatches. So the first one, of course, is beautiful. I can use it as a bronzer or a highlight in the summer. And then the center color is just really off for my skin tone and shade. And then the last one is a Sculpting Powder, and it's very pretty. It's kind of finicky, this product. Sometimes I think it applies really well, and sometimes I don't think it works that well. It depends on maybe what I have underneath, or maybe the brush I'm using. I haven't really decided. I picked this up in this year, so we're still kind of playing with it. These two are keeps. Okay, so 3 from Chanel. I'm not even really sure if any of these are actually bronzers. This is an illuminating powder from, I don't know, maybe a couple years ago? I don't remember. I'm sure people who are really into Chanel could tell me, but it's the first swatch, and it just goes on really pretty and really light if I just want to look very sun-kissed. It looks really pretty, and even though it's baked, it's not like super shimmery. This is a Beiges Healthy Glow Luminous powder in the shade Medium to Deep. I don't know about this one. I reach for it. I mean, as you can tell, like, it's used, but I don't know that, I don't know. I find it like a drier formula, but it's still glowy. I'll show you a swatch. So it's the center one. I think maybe I'm just maybe the wrong skin tone for this. So I would keep the first one over the second one. So I guess we'll declutter this one. Okay, so this last one is just a regular Beiges Healthy Glow powder that is not luminous, and it's in the shade 50. I'm so sad that the thing has like, I don't know what I did to it, because I don't find that Chanel compacts are like fragile, but I must have done something to this one. And that is the last swatch on the right, and I really like it. The shade works out really well for me. It's matte. I can contour or bronze with it. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of that in this video. I can contour or bronze with it, but I mean, it is what it is, right? So keeping that one. So okay, I've decided to combine the Estee Lauder bronzer as well as the Estee Lauder Victoria Beckham ones I have. So this is the Bronze Goddess in shade 2, and when I first got this, I really did enjoy it. It looked very like contoury on me, but over time I just realized I don't reach for it. I do love the pan size, but I think that sometimes it runs a little too red on me. I'm wondering if shade 3 would work better. So I'm going to declutter this one. It's the first swatch on the left. And these are the two Victoria Beckhams. This is Saffron Sun and this is Java Sun. And when this first released, when she first did her collections with Estee Lauder, I picked up a decent amount of stuff. I think I picked up a bronzer and a highlighter. And what else did I grab? The eyeshadow palette and a lip liner. And then when the second collection release, I think I just picked up the bronzer. I just really loved the compact and I love the formula, but I just feel like the first one that came out, which is Java Sun, was like too orange on me. And then when the second one came out, Saffron Sun, it's like a prettier shade, but I think it's too light on me. So those are the two swatches, the center and the right. So as you can see, like it's just, one is like not the right color and the other one just really doesn't show up. So I'm gonna declutter both of them. Next up, we have Marc Jacobs. This is the bronzer in Fantastic. This is so good. It's a very soft formula. I feel like there's mixed reviews on this and I'm not really sure why. Usually I can tell like if it's like a skin type as far as like, you know, dry or oily, or if it's like a skin tone, like warm or cool, but I really can't tell why there's mixed reviews. A lot of people really, really love it, and then some people are like, I just can't get it to work for me. I really love it. I think the formula is great. This is the new Accomplice powder. I think there's like 4 or 5 shades, and this is the darkest one, but it's more like there's like a shimmer to it. So I picked up the darkest shade and I love this for bronzer. There's swatches of both. One is more like neutral contour bronze, and then the other one is like this very sun-kissed bronze. It's kind of a heavier swatch. It's a very soft powder, so it's easy to swatch more heavily than how it would actually appear on your skin, blended in with a brush. So I'm keeping both of these. Okay, so now we're shifting into what I think is probably going to be orphan territory. All those others kind of have like, you know, the same brand, whereas I think the remainder of the bronzers are kind of by themselves. This is Ford Terra. This is the first release of a bronzer he did, and I'm kind of torn about this. I feel like I should declutter because I don't really reach for that often. When I first had it, I did, but then since, you know, getting other bronzers, I don't reach for it. So I feel like I want to declutter. I also want to pick up the newest version of this because I hear it just looks like it's like the best thing he's released. The one in between this one and the most recent release, I think was horrible. It was like really hard pressed, and even though you could use like a natural bristle brush or like definitely a more expensive brush to pick it up, I just wasn't like, I don't know, the coloring was just like okay to me. So I think I'm just gonna declutter this one. So that's a swatch of the Ford Terra. Next up is this Tropez bronzer, and at first I was kind of thrown off by this shade, but it actually works out really well because you can use these to bronze and contour, and then if you want, you can use this to kind of blend out. And if you swirl them all together, you get a nice color, like a really beautiful kind of all-around bronze. Okay, so these top 3 are those 3 colors in the bronzer palette, and then this is the whole thing kind of swatched out. I feel like product placement here was not that great, but this is really good. I'm gonna keep this. Is it weird that I also feel like I could declutter this at some point? I'm not sure. Like for now, I'm enjoying it, but you know how like you can tell you're like, something's gonna replace it or I'm just not gonna reach for it anymore, but for now, I'm still using it, so keeping. Lastly is this Anastasia Beverly Hills bronzer in Saddle. I don't know what it is about these. I picked up 2 shades. One of them I've already decluttered, but this one I was like, I thought, okay, it's more wearable. I'm gonna get it to work. There's something about the Anastasia products, and I don't know what it is. Like when I do like my high-end eyeshadow palettes, you're gonna see that I might get rid of like all of them because I buy them and I like them, but then I don't reach for them because I find that it's just, maybe I'm just not someone that likes powdery things. So that is a swatch of Saddle. And maybe just in looking at the whole shade range, I couldn't really find one that I liked. So I like kind of chose 2 that I thought would work for me. And I also am gonna just declutter this one too. I feel like it's overly pigmented, at least for the bronzers. I do not like overly pigmented bronzers, and this is definitely that. Okay, so Cover FX in Suntan. Clearly, I love this. This is a go-to bronzer for me. I highly recommend it to you. I would say it's like similar to like the new Bare Minerals bronzer in Faux Tan. Yeah. So depending on what brand you like, whatever's on sale, those two are ones that just I highly recommend. They're like really my kind of bronzing powders because you can do the contouring with it. They're neutral toned. I already have a backup of this. I picked it up when like Cover FX was doing a sale, but I can't, I mean, clearly, I don't know what else to say. I really love this one. This is a bronzer from Elcie, and I like a lot of Elcie stuff I've tried. This bronzer, while I love the formula, I think the shade is too orange on me, so I'm gonna declutter this one. This is Nude Bronze Light from Hourglass. I think Hourglass does bronzers that, again, I keep buying and I keep trying, and I try to make them work for me, but I just don't end up reaching for them, so I end up decluttering a lot of it from my collection, and it makes me sad because their stuff is expensive. So the first one on the left is Suntan from Cover FX. The center is Elcie's Medium, which is too orange, and the last one is the Hourglass, and I don't know. They're baked formulas that are very powdery, at least the bronzers. I don't think the blushes are, but I don't know. That's a maybe. I can put that in the maybe pile. Okay, so next up we have this Jouer duo, and I believe this is the light to medium. I really like this. It's newer to my collection, so I haven't like fully delved into it, but I've been enjoying it as I've used it. I've been focusing on this shade. So those three swatches are the lighter, the darker, and the two blended together. This is Laura Mercier's Ritual. I love this so much, and I feel like the swatches are gonna be like, I don't know, hateful, but I love this so much for bronzer as well as contouring. It is a very like pigmented product, so I'm always very careful with it, and I focus my brush on an area based on like what I want it to do. So this is the swatch where it's all swirled together, and this is where it's just kind of focused on the bronzer part, but I know these just look like colors that just don't work for me, but they do. I use it all the time, especially for contouring or even for like a crease shade in the eye, on the eye, yeah. Okay, lastly, we have Sun Soaked Strip from MAC. This is going to be from the Electric something collection. Okay, so it hasn't been released in the US yet. It will be released in June. I picked this up off of Selfridges, and it's already gone. Like, I think it was only on the website for like a couple weeks, and whatever they had sold out completely. There is another bronzer shade, but I really like this one. This is the darker of the two, and this is a swatch of it. Like, really nice color. The formula is really good too. It's the Next to Nothing formula, so it feels like a face powder. It's like very thin, but it applies really well and blends out really easily. Okay, so next up we have kind of our luxury baked gelée bronzers. This first one is from Givenchy, and there were two shades released. One was more of a highlight, and this one is more bronzer. This is so good. When they first teased this on Instagram like months ago, I was just like, oh my god, when is it coming out? How many shades are coming out? Like, I was so excited. Obviously, I love their logo, and then anything that's like marbleized and baked like this, you're just like, yes, right? So I got it thinking, okay, I don't know. I got it off of Barney's when, what is it now called? Rakuten? I have to figure out how to pronounce that. Ebates was doing 20% cash back. I was like, perfect timing. Also, where I live, Barney's doesn't charge tax because there isn't a store in my state, right? Okay, gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. The nature of a lot of baked items means they lean a little more shimmery or glowy. Yeah, I think glowy is a better word. Shimmery suggests like a lot of texture. So this first one here is the Givenchy, and I love it so much. When I use my Chanel Le Beige like fresh tint, like fresh water tint on the skin, all of these gelée bronzers look so good. Like, it looks like I have no makeup on. It's fantastic. Okay, this next one is from YSL. It's their Bronzing Stones. I can't remember if this is like the first or second shade, but I'll list it below. And I really like this. It looks, again, really beautiful on the skin, like skin. And the second swatch from the left is the Bronzing Stones. This is the Givenchy Healthy Glow Powder in shade 4. And again, I really like it. This one is more pigmented than the other two, I would say. So if you're someone that really likes glowy bronzers, this is definitely for you. And it's the third swatch. And lastly is the Sicily Bronzer. I have like pretty much, I feel like I've destroyed this. I do have a backup. Now I know this is very expensive, so this is not on like a must list for anyone. I think in the US it retails for $115. Every so often you'll find it for around 70 something, 70, 75 on Rulala. But overall, I think I got mine. It was probably off of like one of the like UK or European websites. So I remember paying like maybe 40 or 50, which I guess is okay for a bronzer to me, but it is so beautiful. I feel like whenever you see people review this, particularly people who are older, they really like it because it looks really good on the skin and it doesn't show any texture and it gives you a really beautiful glow. So this one, I don't know if I'm going to declutter or what. I do have a brand new one. I think that because of the formula of this, it is an extremely soft baked gelée and it almost feels like a cream. It's kind of hard to describe, but it's beautiful. And that is the Sicily. I feel like when I do these videos, after a certain point in time, my hand gets a little like raw and all my veins and everything start showing. I'm so sorry. This is from Well People, and just everything they do is so nice as far as like powder products go. So I had originally purchased their loose powder, loved it. And then I picked up the pressed bronzer and the pressed powder. Oh my God, guys, I am losing my voice. Okay, so this next one is from Aerin, Estee Lauder's granddaughter, I believe, Aerin Lauder. She came out with a line called Aerin. And I think she launched with a whole bunch of makeup and now she has tons of fragrance. But she has slowly like really minimized the amount of makeup that she's been like releasing. I think it's down to like maybe like a lip balm or something right now, or a lip gloss. And it's so sad because like I think her stuff was so good. I mean, this packaging, like so sleek and simple. And I love this. And I believe this bronzer only comes in like a palette now that's like $70 or something. So I love this. I'm keeping it. It's a very like beautifully done baked gelée formula. Is the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores bronzer. This has so many good reviews, especially on YouTube, but I don't know why, I just don't like the way it looks on me. It doesn't work for me. I don't understand, because I really generally like IT Cosmetics stuff, even if I don't like their coloring. I like their formulas. Sumo's playing with his dog toy. Can you guys hear? This is the Makeup Forever in 15i. I was so excited when these launched. I picked up 3 shades and this is the one that probably works the best for me. I am hitting pan. I use this a lot. And lastly is this Lorac bronzer in Pool Party. I love the formula of these. If you find a shade that works for you, I highly recommend them. It is lighter on me, so I use it more so in the winter. And there are the swatches. From left to right, we have the Well People, and then we have the Aerin, and the IT Cosmetics, the Makeup Forever, and then the last one is the Lorac Pool Party. I love all of these. Oh no, just kidding. I love all of these except for the IT Cosmetics, so I'm going to declutter the IT Cosmetics one. Okay, so this is our last grouping. This is Hawaiian Glow from L'Oreal. I really love this. Tahitian Glow is on my list. I know it's at Nordstrom Rack. I'm just kind of like waiting to pick it up, maybe more when it's like June, July, because you can also use these on your body. I love the formula of this. It's very soft, shimmery, beautiful on the face. This is the Dolce & Gabbana blush in tan. When contouring first became a thing, like way back in the day, probably even before contouring was a thing, everyone was using this and the Kevyn Aucoin Medium Sculpting Powder. So there were like 2 of them on the market. Maybe MAC had something going on, but like these were it. And I haven't used this in a really long time. It's so old, but I mean, like I said, I don't really care about powders. And when I just swatched it, I really loved it. So I thought I was gonna declutter this, but I might keep it and try it out for a little bit. This is the Rodeo, packaging's like that. The Rodeo Contour. This is actually way too cool toned on me, so I'm probably going to declutter this even though I haven't really used it that much. I've probably used it twice. This is a Charlotte Tilbury face powder in the shade 3. It's their darkest shade, but I picked it up because it looks beautiful as a bronzer. Her powders are just so nice that, like, you know, wherever you want to apply them, they just look good. Lastly, we have this Lila B. Her stuff is so expensive. I mean, and the packaging of this specifically, I have also picked up their highlighter, which I haven't received yet. When they did their 40% off sale, I think a lot of stuff went out of stock very quickly. So the problem with this, like, honestly, the packaging just scares me. Like, I actually, like, still have the box because I'm scared to keep it, like, on its own. Like, I feel like I have to, like, babysit it. So I haven't tried it out that many times, and I have to, like, get a feel for it because it has really high ratings. But again, I feel like they're mixed. Like, people either really love it or they're like, it's not worth the money, you know? So it's newer to my collection, like, definitely like 2 months. So I'm going to keep it and try it out. Okay, so left to right, we have the Laura Geller Hawaiian Glow, the Dolce Gabbana Tan, which I'm like, it looks so good there, right, as a contour. This is the Rodeo, which is just too gray. And then we have the Charlotte Tilbury number 3. And then there is where I attempted to swatch the Lila B. I don't know why that... I think she's one of those, like, all-natural clean brands, so we'll see. I mean, we'll play with a little more. I probably need to switch out a different brush. This is probably not something that should be finger swatched. So yeah. Okay, so here is the declutter pile. We are decluttering 10, 12. Not bad. Not the best, but not horrible. Okay. And this is the keep pile. Oh, Lord have mercy. I think it's like 29 in here. We're not doing good here, but you know, have orgasms for bronzer, so I mean, here you go. You're probably gonna experience the same thing when we look at highlighters.